Hey Tony, alright, so like you asked for, we're gonna go and see if this is your last life or if this is the life of a non-human. And I feel like I already know what's happening here, and I might have to use more of my imagery than what the cards lay out here, but I'd like to show you using the pendulum how this can work. And it might be something you're interested in as well, as if the pendulum calls to you. It's a fun tool to have, especially to begin doing energy work with. So I'm just gonna let it hang here, and we're gonna see where it takes us as far as how far back in history. It's gonna be really still for a second. Okay, so what it did was it validated for me, because I feel like we're going to a non-human life, and how that validated is with the time card. When you use a pendulum, if this was going to be your last life, or the last life, or like before the last life, it would have stayed right directly in the center, because that indicates present time. But you can see it was going wider and wider back to ancient times, so the further it gets from the center, the further back we're going. And so that is good, because that's what I was feeling we were going with here, because I was feeling an animal life here. And so let's focus in now. All right, so we're going to where we are, what you do with the majority of your time, an important day, another important day, the death, and the lesson learned. And thanks for bearing with me with that right there. I have to be quiet, otherwise even breathing, I don't want to shake the pendulum, so I like to let it go on its own. All right, so let's do this. I'm just going to tune in real quick. So you can see we have Asia here, okay? And I'm not good with the countries in Asia, but I do want to say that we're looking at a coastline, and they're putting me west, no, we're going that way, so that's east, so we're heading that way. So I don't think we're in Japan. I think we are on the coast of the mainland, on the eastern coast of the mainland. Okay, so that might be China. I think China is there, but it's on the coast, and it's south. Okay, so we're looking like southern east coast of the Asian continent, which I believe we're looking at China. I just Google this part. It's not like far down. It's not going to be down where I think the Philippines are. I think it's right above that. So I think China is going to be where we're looking at, on the coast. And right here we're getting a life at sea. So I really am feeling like this is an animal, but I'm feeling like it's a mammal that lives mostly in the water, even though it might not sleep in the water. Like, I honestly, what I keep getting the images is of kind of like an otter kind of creature. So I don't know what they have in China, and I don't even know if this creature even still exists, because this would be so far back that this would have begun before any of your human incarnations, because we start out as the animals, and before that we do trees and rocks, all that good stuff. Our soul incarnates and it elevates. So this was a long time ago, but I feel honestly like this animal would, at least the descendants of it, is still around. I don't think this is endangered, like I don't think this was killed off or anything. I really feel like it's an otter of some sort, because I'm just seeing a creature living on rocks in the ocean, dipping in and out. So there's this dipping in and out, like just like keeping its hide wet, like it just wants to keep its hide wet, moist, something like that. Okay, and so again, your job is to make connections. So this and you can still make connections to these very old lives, and how you can do that is, if you feel at home in the sea, if you feel at home in the ocean, if you are ever at the ocean and you just get an urge to take a quick dive just to get like the first dive in, and like, so like let's say you're on a boat and you get out and you're like, I'm just gonna do a quick dive and then come up and do whatever you gotta do. So just keep that in mind. Okay. All right, let's go to the first important day here. And thanks for requesting this, by the way. I really appreciate this because I like to expand my horizons with these readings. So this is really interesting to me. Okay, so the first important day. So we have a wowzer day. This is a wowzer card. Something very interesting is happening. Something that hasn't happened before is happening. Here's the karmic card. Because we can travel with souls. We can travel with, we get relationships with these souls that come in and out of our lives. It doesn't matter if we're human or not. We're souls, first and foremost. And then the feelings of neutrality. So let's see what's happening here. Alright, so it's a wowzer day with karmic. What's happening? Okay, so what I'm seeing is through the eyes of the creature itself, I'm seeing, okay, so this creature stays close to shore more often than not. It doesn't go out in deep waters. It doesn't really live in the ocean, but it spends most of its day there. Like it eats in the ocean, all these things. It pulls, like, I feel like it eats something like kelp, like these green things it gets from the ocean. It's constantly hunting for things. And I feel like there's others like it nearby, and there's a sharing. So there's a sharing involved. This can connect to you even. You can be someone that is very generous and shares and feels like you might feel guilty for, having the full pot of gold, so to speak. Okay, so this day though, there's something interesting that happens because I feel like what I'm seeing out in the distance are these large shapes, and it's almost like a group of whales or something back then, these large creatures that swim together. And I'm gonna say whales because that's what it looks like, even though I can only see a shadow in my mind. And I feel like this creature actually swims deeper out past where it's supposed to be going in order to see really what this is, because there's a curiosity to this creature. And that is kind of what sets this soul apart, because animal souls, they can grow and evolve, and through the evolution move up in species, if that makes sense, like gain intelligence and gain wisdom, and that's how they start moving up. And so in this case, I feel like this day is important because your curiosity was almost unlike what the rest of your pack feels. In fact, not even a pack, it's a grouping. It's like you're with a group. Because I don't think you hunt together. I don't think it's like, I feel like you're very gentle creatures, if anything. So what's interesting is this neutrality feeling. I feel like that's the feeling of the group that you're with, because you're the only one here that's curious enough to go out from the rocks. And I feel like you have caves in these rocks. I feel like there's a rock face, and I feel like there's a hole in it, and you can wedge yourself in the hole, and there's a cave inside the rock area where you guys sleep. So you sleep listening to the ocean. You might connect in this life to, like, if you like to fall asleep to ocean sounds, that might stem from this, so keep that in mind. Now, the rest of them are neutral, as in they might see it, but they're like, okay, it's not bothering us, let's go about our day. You swim out further, and I'm seeing this through the eyes of the creature swimming out further. So like right now, what I'm seeing is movement forward, and they're still shadowy, because you have to go out quite a ways more than you're used to. And okay, so I feel like in your current life you might connect to the feelings of being somewhat fearless in a sense, like almost like opportunities to you. You don't feel fear first you feel excitement. So that might connect to you, because right here we're feeling excited curiosity rather than, oh crap, I'm in the middle of the ocean, I'm further than I've been, is this smart, am I safe? There's none of those feelings right now. So we're moving towards these creatures, and I'm seeing something like a humpback whale. The humpback whales, is that what they're called? I'm seeing like a creature, so it's like lighter on the belly, and the head is more of a squarish shape, and it is a whale. And you are kind of astounded because I think you have heard the call of the whale, the singing, but you've never been able to put two and two together until now. So now, as this creature, you're putting together the singing of the whales with the actual creature of the whale itself. So putting that together to you is a big wow, as big as it can be for this kind of creature. You're learning something on this day, you're stepping up on this day. There's a soul movement upwards because you're putting two and two together as an intelligent creature. And you find it as interesting as you can. And it's interesting how because I feel like I'm not even wording it correctly for how this creature feels, because I'm wording it like a human would feel. But this is an animal. So just keep that in mind, that there's like a whole different language that I feel is coming through that I just don't have the right words for. Alright, so this is a very interesting day. And I feel like the whales never came this close. I don't know why they're coming that close. And so this animal just like hangs and lets them pass. I think he even tries to not catch the attention, but I feel like he almost tries to imitate the whale. In your current life, you might be fond of whales. You may be fond of the whale song. Maybe you might even like want to try to find it on YouTube and listen to it and see if that resonates with you as far as maybe calming you or being interesting to you. Okay, good, yes. So let's go to this next important day. This is really interesting. So this is a day, here we have enlightenment, and then it has to do with family, and then proud, feelings of proud. So I'm just gonna see what is going on here. Okay, so I feel like it's something like you have otter cubs, I guess. I think they're called cubs. I see two of these little otters with you, and you're teaching them how to hunt, and you're teaching them the ways of your people. See, the language isn't there. You're teaching them your ways, and you're watching them hunt. And keep in mind, this day changed you. It made you more conscious and aware. It raised your consciousness in a way. And so here, you're actually taking avid interest in how your cubs, or your children, I guess, are going from not knowing to instinctually trying to do what is meant to be done as you are as an otter or whatever it is. However, there's an instinctual way of going about catching fish or scooping up kelp or whatever it is they're doing. And then there is the actual learning of it. So they're going out there not having ever done it before, and you're watching them try to do it as instincts which would try to dictate, and then you're helping them and you're seeing that they're getting it. And you are basically, this is what's amazing, is this day of enlightenment. It's enlightenment because you are aware that you are seeing something profound happening with your young, and you're able to have a sense of pride about your children, even though I feel like the rest of these otters, normal otters, I guess, the normal ones, I don't know how else to say it, it's just like a thing, like, okay, time to teach them to hunt, let's do it, let's move along. You are actually taking a sense of appreciation of your cubs learning the ways of your kind, and that is really profound. And I feel like your soul here gets such a bump up in this life that I feel like it's almost like the next life that you incarnate in, is something almost like something fiercer, something more intelligent in general. Like an animal, I feel like it's an animal, but it's much more intelligent, whether it's an ape or a horse or something. I feel like this is the last life of a lower kind of consciousness being, because I feel like you get a huge bump up here. It's so interesting. You might enjoy, this might connect to you because you might be someone who really appreciates seeing the moment that somebody gets something, you know, like almost like maybe you have like the soul of a teacher, or what do I want to say with this? It's in, what's the concept I'm trying to go for? Appreciate something. Like, okay, like if you go on YouTube and you see those videos of people getting people seeing for the first time, or people hearing for the first time that are deaf, that get those cochlear implants, you know, like those kinds of things. Those things might bring you to tears. Those things might really like just hit you in your heart. There's an appreciation you may be someone that has this like deep appreciation, so deep, for seeing others grow in their soul or grow on their journey, if that makes sense. So keep that in mind for here. All right. Like almost like if someone else has an accomplishment, you can vicariously through them feel proud for them, whether or not you know them, because you can appreciate that feeling or appreciate the skill set or knowledge or wisdom that goes along with their accumulation of skills or building of skills. Do you know what I mean? Okay. So here we have the death card, and we're looking at disease. So with this, I honestly think that you die from eating, how it feels is fish, with a fish that has bacteria in it. There's fish, something you eat has a bacteria that just kills you. It's in the stomach. It tears, I feel like it just tears up your intestines or something like that. It might even be worms in the intestines. So just keep that in mind. In your current life, if you have issues with your stomach at all, or food sensitivities, or you might be someone that you might be someone that likes fish, but also, because this is basically all you ate, you might like fish a lot, but you also might be someone very like making sure that there is nothing wrong with your fish, like your food in general. You might be someone that makes sure, you know, like there's no unnecessary like blood or bugs or whatever it is. I know it sounds weird. So that can be a slight paranoia on that end. So it could be your stomach, it can be paranoia. Yeah, so keep that in mind, if at all. And then, this is great, and this is awesome. The lesson learned is the experience card. And this was completely learned in this life. You hit it like the nail on the head. You experienced everything, and not only did you have the experiences you were meant to experience by living as this otter creature, and having a family, and doing what you're meant to do, and hunting, and making a shelter, and being part of the group. You did everything you're supposed to do, and how you did it even more was by appreciating and understanding that you are actually having an experience while it's occurring right here. Like being able to appreciate the moments, being able to appreciate and be curious and go after and look at the whales, being able to see the cubs learning new things and being proud of them. You really took this life by the balls, so to speak. This was, even though it was just an animal life, this life was very, very fulfilling. So there's your past life. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed reading this one, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.